That was hard to watch. Connell Crooms. Some of you may remember him from a few years ago, when he was arrested as part of the Jacksonville 5 protesters in Florida, who were in an anti-war protest in response to the Trump administration firing missiles into Syria. Not only was he arrested, but he was beaten until unconscious by Jacksonville sheriff's officers. That was hard to watch, I know. But that isn't something we can ignore. The reality is that it happens to many of us, even in our deaf, deafblind, deaf-disabled, late-deafened, and hard-of-hearing community. Connell got community support rallying around him after the incident, and as a result, charges against him were dropped. However, of course, Connell still remembers it vividly to this day.
Part of me still wonders, why did those police officers use that approach? Why was the only one that was arrested, and not the white men who caused the whole situation to get out of hand? Was it racism, or what? Also, another part of me still thinks about the police knowing that I'm deaf, and they still went ahead with their beating. And to this day, they haven't been punished. No discipline, nothing. In fact, a few incidents happened after that situation. Really put the spotlight on our sheriff's department. They really had a lot of flexibility and could do whatever they wanted to do. And no society can survive a lawless sheriff's office. So that's the big crucial key part to see how we treat others. How we make sure we have accountability for one of the most important functions of the city's government, which is to keep people protected, safe, and feel comfortable, so they can be around without any worry, and they can feel safe to interact with the cops without any concerns or anxiety.
That experience with police brutality definitely changed Connell, and how he feels about police. He feels anxious around them, even to this day.
It really changed me big time. I've said this for a while, and I still do to this day. I'm still nervous around police officers. Every time I see police cars behind me, that really raises my anxiety. Because it gives me flashbacks of what happened. Will they know who I am? Do they know that I'm deaf? If I try to tell them that I'm deaf, will they even care?
Connell feels strongly that the police need to work with us.
The big question that I often ask myself, do we have any programs, systems of accountability? Because one important thing to remember is that we, the citizens, vote, and the officers have sworn an oath to serve us. We are their bosses. Our tax dollars pay for them to serve. We pay for everything, meaning their whole police department. But it seems that lately it's more of the other way around. Meaning we, the people, have to bow down to serve them, rather than having them do their job in serving us. I think it's a big thing to look at. And how do we, as a society, create more? Create a department that is accountable to the people. Because it's not right when the police department can investigate themselves and say, we investigated ourselves and found nothing. We're innocent. Nothing's wrong. Move on. That kind of system would never work.
I asked Connell how he thinks the police need to learn how to work with deaf people, from his experience.
I think the sensitivity training by itself isn't enough. I think we also need to understand and educate the police department that deafness itself has subsets. Like, we have Black ASL, and we have different kinds of cultural differences within the deaf community. The deaf community itself is very big. It's small, yes, but the community is small when compared to the hearing community. But within the deaf community, to us, it is big. And we have a very diverse, different kinds of people. Deaf people who sign only have language. That's it. Language requires culture, and culture requires language, too. So as a Black deaf man, it would be a different experience growing up compared to someone who is white and deaf. I think the police department have to understand that not all deaf people are the same. They would think that being deaf means they can't speak or they can't lip read. No, they're just deaf. It's part of their identity, and it will never change until... Really, that will never change. I think it's important to educate the police department on what deaf identity means and what it looks like. And what is the best way to approach and deal with deaf people. They can learn sign language, ASL too, so there's more to it than just knowing the basics. Like ABCs or sign stop, calm down, roll down your window, license, and registration. There's more to it than that. I think the police could do a better job with how they interact with deaf people.
Connell is now using his platform to create change. He's running for Jacksonville City Council. Even with little experience or money compared to who he's running against, because he feels change needs to be made with a vision.
I'm tired of seeing. I had grown up here in Jacksonville since I was 7. Now I'm almost 30 years old. For many years, I've been hearing that Jacksonville would change. It would change. It would. I heard that for many years, and I'm tired. I've gone to city council meetings, and I'm like, is this what we're talking about? Is this the issue of the day? How does this help put food on people's tables? 42% of our people are poor. What exactly are we doing to address that? We're on pace to break a record with over 130 murders this year alone. The city is number 1 in murders. What are we doing to address that? We have problems with gun-related violence. We have problems with poverty. We have problems with providing employment. And the only thing we can talk about is the conflicts of personalities. Please, I want to change that conversation. That's why I decided to run for office. Because I think many of the problems here in Jacksonville, many of the problems here in our country to this day must be addressed by people of my generation. I don't think people over the age of 50 really can address those issues. Because it's a lot of issues that we have to talk and discuss about. So many. Some people have said we can only deal with one issue for the next 10 years. I don't like that. I don't think like that. I believe we can advocate for people. Be an advocate for LGBTQ people. For Black people. For workers. All of those at the same time. I believe that. I really want to change. Completely overhaul about how we deal with businesses here in Jacksonville. Like I said, Jacksonville is one of the biggest cities, but it's also very young. The people in the government are 50 years old, so I think it leaves a lot for us to have things we can work on and what we can do to make a difference. We can establish and create a board that can install policies, laws, and different things we can do. I'm looking at it in that way. Really, my biggest goal is to make sure that my future kids can live here too. It's a beautiful place, a beautiful city to raise a family. I want to be able to do that one day.
I can feel Connell's passion for wanting to make a difference. Elections will happen on March 19th. It's predicted that Connell will make it into the top 2, going into the final election in May. Whatever happens, Connell Crooms, you've got my support, and I know you will go far. If you're in the Jacksonville, Florida area, take a look at Connell's message.
I'm running for city council at large group number 1. If you have any family and friends living here in Jacksonville, make sure to encourage people to go vote.